The time has come for Nigeria to review its national radiation safety regulations policy in line with acceptable international best practices. This is to further ensure the safe transportation of nuclear and radioactive materials by land or by sea. To achieve this, a 5-day national workshop on safe transport of nuclear and radioactive sources in the oil and gas, manufacturing and construction industries for land and marine transporters has opened in Abuja, the nation's capital. Organized by the Nigeria Nuclear Regulatory Authority, the validation of the draft radiation safety regulations is also a tab on the agenda. In his opening remarks, the Director General, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, Dr. Yao Usman Idris, represented by the Acting Director General, Dr. Nasiruddin Bello, noted that ensuring that regulations for nuclear and radiation safety are in accordance with the international safety standard is a national responsibility, while stressing the need for all operating organizations to be well informed of the requirements in order to promote participatory compliance. He further elaborates on the necessity for the workshop.
Because NNRA encourages what we call participatory compliance, that is why we needed to bring the stakeholders to this place and ensure that they also look at the regulation. Because once the regulation is gazetted, you cannot come back to say you were not aware of it, and it is binding after being gazetted. We also need to continue to exchange information and knowledge between the regulator and the stakeholders. So this workshop will serve both purposes.
Resource persons and stakeholders in the academia and the transportation sector speak further on the timely nature of the workshop while calling on various stakeholders to eschew sharp practices.
The issue of security is very important. You don't want any of these criminals to have access to radioactive materials. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. And the only way to ensure that is for the handlers to know what they are carrying and how critical security should be. When those who are involved in the application of these regulations are part of the drafting, then everybody will be happy. Everybody cannot have any reason to complain.
We are going to talk not just only about radioactive, about how to make trade facilitation as bordered on radioactive especially much better than what we have been having. It's a time to review some of those policies as it affects not just NNRA, Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, but also as they interact and interrelate with other agencies and how they can make it better so we can have a more better smooth operation in trade actualization.
You know very well from experience that we have in this country we have a lot of laws which are geared towards making our society better. But we always cut corners. And in nuclear technology, you cannot afford to cut corners. Especially when you talk about this transport of radioactive material. In these days of non-state operationals like bent on terrorism, any mishandling of radioactive material can lead to loss of radioactive material and what we call in our trade dirty bombs.
We raised the reservation raised on the non-implementation of laws in Nigeria.
Technology changes, so also with that dynamics, we need to also see that the laws that we are also promulgating will also change according to those technology that we are experiencing. So definitely, even if they are not being implemented, and most of the people here, they are the stakeholders. So by them looking at the document, it means it can be sellable. It can be user-friendly because they already have first-hand information on how the document, and during the deliberation, they will definitely talk about how that document will be of impact to them. So in terms of usage and implementation, I believe it will be much, much easier since the stakeholders are all here in this particular program.
The Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, established by the Nuclear Act 1995, is the government entity responsible for nuclear safety and radiological protection regulation in Nigeria.